Does exhibiting still play an important part?
Yes, when I get the chance to. I have a bit of a, as I mentioned before, I guess I'm a bit of a perfectionist when wanting to, if I have the chance and opportunity to exhibit, I want it to be seen in the best possible light. So I don't exactly go searching for exhibition opportunities. I have sort of sat on my hands, so to speak, and have, you know, I don't exactly go looking for it. I sort of wait to be invited, etc. So yeah, mostly by other artists, friends. The last one I was involved with was with Metro Arts. There was a call out, and it was in conjunction with a performance called England by Tim Crouch. And it was a performance, male-female dialogue, and it sort of moved around the gallery, and they would use the artworks on the wall as reference pieces, and within the dialogue as well. So the last time that was performed in Brisbane was 10 years ago, and I went along to see it, and it was well worth. It was very interesting dialogue. Very simple, but the dialogue was really worth going along and seeing. In regards of, it was, I guess the crux of it was the plot about the value, you know, how we value particular things like artwork and against someone's life, you know. So yeah, so that was the last one. Predominantly a lot of group shows, nothing in regards to solo shows. Yeah, I guess also too, I haven't really sort of found a particular place or a gallery that I think would suit what I would propose to do. So quite large works, very, you know, white wall gallery sort of situation. Yeah, but in regards of doing that, even aligning myself with, you know, wanting to do a solo show, that's fairly costly. It's like, again, you know, might as well sell another organ, and yeah, and then fingers crossed that it's accepted well, and you're reviewed well, and all that sort of stuff. So hit and miss kind of situation, you know. And the thing is, if you don't have a go, you won't ever know. So I guess I'm building up the courage as well as a body of, you know, work to present. Yeah.
You have a very definite, I think, identifiable style in your abstraction.
Yes, it's...
Where did you develop that?
Well, that's been over the past 5 years.
Yeah.
It's something that was, of course, very. It was still black and white, but the lines were so much more controlled and naive and like very forced almost. So. And they've grown to become much more loose, and yeah, quite well, action. It's and that's what I'm trying to, not trying to, but it's just the way that comes out. It's I guess that the drawing side of me, it's like I just want to draw, and like when I'm drawing, I can be quite like a build. I feel like I'm building, because it's fairly layered. They're heavily layered, but I've had, of course, you know, Franz Klein would be a massive influence. Yet, I believe that my work has actually gone past that. I've gone past his identifiable works. and as you said, I've developed my own particular style. And weirdly enough, someone mentioned to me on social media that the concepts that I produce, of like there was recent ones with the F-117 Nighthawk, that I was like, a cross between Klein and Barnett Newman and some other contemporary artists, and I was like, that's a fairly big bag to put me into, like. It's really high up there. That's like, and they're really, really inspiring artists. So I must be on the right track. I must be doing something right. So, and yeah, a lot of people have said that it's quite identifiable sort of work and style. So I'm just chuffed. I'm really, 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 really excited and really, really happy for the fact that those kind of reviews and comments have been made. Of course, you have your immediate people who will, of course you get the haters, and of course you'll say, oh yeah, you've just copied, Franz Klein's work. Yeah, I may have earlier on, just as it's sort of almost like this push to get me going, and but I feel like I've stepped out of that light and have now made my own.
Yeah, I suppose like a starting point, like you were saying before, building, on something.
Yeah.
I mean, I've known, art students that I've taught who have taken on, they'll turn up to their first year interviews to get in with, a very kind of derivative sort of thing. And then over the course of the 3 or 4 years that they're there, actually, directly from that, develop something that is quite identifiable and unique to them as well.
Very individual. Yeah. It's kind of almost like I would say a stepping stone in regards to defining your voice within an art practice. So and it's needed for some people to actually encourage them and to find that voice.
One of the things that is in a lot of your work is this combination, and it's a very definite juxtaposition between these abstract expressionist style mark making and also a figurative,
the popular kind of stuff,
popular sort of thing.
Imagery. Yeah.
Tell me a bit about that.
That happened. That was purely a chance thing. It wasn't something that I was purposely trying to achieve as a result. But being a big fan, history fan, and admiring Andy Warhol's works, and that's, I guess, from my commercial screen printing, printmaking aspect. Loved his works, and I've come across a few in regards to, sorry about the ding, I should have turned that off, but the electric chair is a particular piece, but also to his car crash scenes, which I was absolutely in love with, even though they may seem grotesque to some people. I just find when you read more about his process or his methods to actually achieve those images, it's pretty, it's amazing. But anyway, I kind of was looking at that, and I was looking at my work, and for some reason I just had this, another app, was an offshoot of the Instagram attachments, something like a grid layout thing, and I put one next to the other, and I've got two little sort of snapshots of those up there, and all of a sudden this accidental alignment came into play, like the words, but also the imagery in regards of how they sat with the creases in the dents in the vehicle, and the line work, and it was by pure chance that it happened to just go snap, and I thought, holy shit, I'll run with this. And so growing from that, it's been other popular images and a lot of whether it be celebrities, but more so now comic strips or cartoons, you know, taking segments or portions and editing it, cropping it, and only sort of revealing whether it be the speech bubble or the particular action that they're going through, and yeah, throwing it against I guess an artist's authentic mark making process against a more mechanical, popular, mass produced. It's just this kind of clash between two worlds, and on some of them they really bellow out this, and they can bellow out messages of depending on how I edit and crop, etc. But there have been images that I've used that have, you know, suggested about morals, you know, living standards, politics, I guess female objectivity, you know, like, you know, objectifying the female form, which has come into criticism as well through social media. So it's kind of there are a lot of things that are touched on in regards to whether they be like a current social issue, or whether they be like a past or a massive issue that's, you know, continually happening.
To me, it seems like you've taken two predominant visual languages of the 1950s and 60s, particularly the 60s, which is, you know, the sort of the Greenbergian abstraction kind of branch, and then almost well, if you think about Greenberg and, you know, the avant-garde versus kitsch kind of idea, that you've taken the exact opposite of that as far as someone like Greenberg's concerned, and put those two things together. And in the process actually looked for, I'm just looking at the images just behind you there, aesthetic resonances within the mark making in the figurative image as well as in the abstract image that you've got. So it's almost like you've got a bit of a Venn diagram, with the aesthetics being the points where the two supposedly diametrically opposed approaches overlap.
Yeah, it's well, it's not symmetry. It's sort of because it's down the line, and it's yeah. And I don't know whether whether it is, you know, it's continued by chance, or whether it. I know on some of them it definitely has been purely by chance, but yeah, some of them I will be quite purposely trying to make them marry.
Can I ask you a bit more, to elaborate a little bit more about the chance thing as well, because this is something that I'm really fascinated about, and has come up in so many interviews I've done with artists, where they will attempt to inject into the process something, whether that thing, you know, is the toss of a dice or shooting electrodes through their hand or whatever, some process where they actually lose control.
The random spontaneous. Yeah. I tend to think that there's a great deal through the mark making or the abstract sort of side of things. More so that. Yeah, it's a bit of a tough one. It's like it's not as though I'm really searching for it, because I get enough the spontaneous and randomness through the mark making and painting. So
when you put those images together, though, are they put together sort of by design, or are you randomly kind of
a bit of both?
Yeah.
So I will select the images, you know, totally away from the image, you know, what I've painted. So when I bring them together, I will look at how they fit, like a bit of a jigsaw puzzle. And some will work immediately, and some won't. Some will have to be, you know, jiggled a bit to sort of marry them up and go, okay, well, these will work together. But it's not every time that they sort of really echo and work. So yeah, I tend to think that not a lot of the time, but some of the time it's a hit and miss situation. I can't be guaranteed to sort of have like a fantastic sort of painting every time, and I think that's just part of the game to sort of keep going. And yeah.
For you, is the outcome then kind of like is it an aesthetic? Are you trying to hit at something aesthetic with that outcome, or is there something else happening?
No, my own aesthetics, I think. More visual appealing. Of course, like I've had a graphic design sort of background.
Yeah.
But it's purely my aesthetic, how I would see something and how I feel when that flow of, whether it be diagonal lines that will move across from the abstract sort of work to the popular sort of stuff. It's sort of it's purely my own. I kind of don't really have. I guess it's my graphic training that it's kind of like, oh yeah, you gotta make it fit. And then at times I go, oh fuck it, just make it go asymmetrical and like try and make it off kilter, where people go, that really irks me, and I guess I push to sort of want to get that or draw that in, draw it into even having a dialogue with the viewer, because it doesn't really matter as long as they get some kind of reaction, like a response. Because God help me, if it was a reaction, it was like it's like slash. No, just a response, because then I know that they're thinking about it.
Yeah.
And it's caught up in here in the cerebral, where it's going to bounce around for a while, and
So is it that the less resolved an image is, the more tension it kind of builds up in terms of people feeling they need to respond to it? Does that make sense?
Yeah. Possibly.
Because I'm just looking, when I look at the 4 images that you've got at the back there, there's you've got a couple of car crashes, etc. But the third one down is actually the most kind of discordant at an aesthetic level of.
Yes.
Yeah. Because you've got actually a human figure, and then you've got these fairly,
Yeah, it's that. Being a big music fan, I cannot. How I work is also with a great deal of music, and being also within the music industry for a short period of time, I took it upon myself to sort of grab, I guess, these music icons. Ian from Joy Division. Yeah, I didn't even really think of those two opposing elements, I guess, the human form and that. I've just sort of as just going along with it, and I like it. It's but yeah, and having a discoloration, it's like, I guess that's the print aspect as well. I kind of using duotones and half tone and all that sort of stuff. So but I've never really thought of it as I guess the human form against an abstracted form as well.